Hello everyone, it's Adam here from 40 Days for Life. I'm outside the Royal St Anne's Hospital where we do a prayer vigil. We pray for the unborn who are at risk of abortion. We pray for the mothers who are considering abortion and the fathers. And we also pray for the BPAS staff, for the conversion of the BPAS staff, so that they would see and come to realise the horror of abortion, as I did, as someone who has helped in the abortion industry and who also paid for an abortion. I wanted to talk today about the church, how the church through history has often been involved in horrendous injustices and cruelty. And I was reading yesterday about the Church of England, which was involved in the slave trade. Various bishops owned slaves in these sugar plantations, and when the slave trade was abolished, the Bishop of Exeter was paid compensation for 600 slaves, over 600 slaves. So Christians have been involved in great evil in the past, but it was William Wilberforce, an evangelical Christian, a born-again Christian who knew Jesus, who repeatedly brought up a bill to end the slave trade, and eventually in 1807, I think it was, slavery was abolished. And Britain can hold its head high in that we spent considerable amounts of money through the Royal Navy preventing, as far as possible, the slave trade between Africa and the West Indies and America. And the reason I wanted to speak to you was to say that right now we are living through a similar time period. Every generation, Satan pulls the wool over people's eyes to blind them to the truth. And right now we are living in a generation where over 200,000 babies are murdered every year within their mother's womb. 200 years from now, people will look back at the church and they will be horrified to see that the church was silent on this issue. Yes, the Church of England and most churches understand that abortion is wrong, but we don't show that. We don't go out on the streets and tell people that it's wrong. We don't offer women who are abortion minded help and support. We don't show them the reality of abortion. When abortion was recently forced upon Northern Ireland, the bishops, we have a number of bishops, I forget the exact number, something like 26 bishops in the House of Lords. Only a handful turned up to vote against the imposition of abortion on Northern Ireland. To its credit, the Archbishop of Canterbury did, but we had no big song and dance about it. There was no big hoo-ha about it. Yet at the moment the bishops are up in arms about the fact we're leaving the European Union, something that is not a moral issue at all. That's a political issue, not moral at all. And yet abortion, which is killing worldwide about 50 million abortions every single year, 200,000 every year in Britain, over 9 million since the imposition of the Abortion Act in 1967. Tragically, the bishops, our church leaders, are woefully silent on this issue. We need to be talking about this, Christian leaders. We need to talk about this in our churches. It's a painful thing to talk about, I know it is. Many of your congregation may have had an abortion, but the best way you can help them is to talk about this. There can be no redemption for women and for families unless they understand the horror of abortion. Right now, many people in the church pews simply haven't even considered this issue. And many women are suffering in silence. They're ashamed to come out and speak about this. They shouldn't be. They were tricked, they were deceived by the abortion industry, they were deceived by society that tells us that abortion is nothing more than a tooth extraction or a tonsillectomy. And we as the church have a duty to tell people about the reality of abortion. And we could end it tomorrow if that's what was happening. If up and down the country we were talking about this, we could end this horror tomorrow. So that my challenge is that we would go out and share the truth, the gospel, and the reality of abortion, so that in 200 years' time, you yourself are one of the people that was brave enough to stand up against this, and your relatives can be proud of you. Well, God bless you, and until next time.